Good morning, folks. We got a active pattern in our future here with severe weather ongoing this morning, along with severe weather and excessive rainfall and flooding possible here, as well as winter weather. You can see on the current radar. Um, Interestingly enough, there's this is moving out, right? And you have the snow moving out with the recent freezing rain and snow, leaving some residual frozen ground here, and you have some storms moving through Oklahoma here this morning with hail and winds, right? Mostly dense fog advisories in these special weather statement areas, and up here in the Northeast we have um, the special weather statement for freezing fog, things like that. So, welcome to my channel. Hope you all doing well today. My name is Tim Mailer, meteorologist, and we're going to talk about the severe weather threat in the coming days, excessive rainfall, and that's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to focus on that for now. And as we get closer to the weekend, we'll be able to talk more about the longer range here. But there's a lot going on. Like my video if you like it, subscribe, and share with your friends and put any comments in the comments below. And let's get started with the 3 to 7 day hazards outlook. So as we start this forecast, I'm going to show you the 3 to 7 day hazards. This is through the 10th. We know severe weather is possible here. The 6th, the 7th, and 8th here in these different areas, as well as high wind potential in the western U.S. as different systems move through. Also into Alaska, we got the potential for high winds and as is cold in southwestern Alaska and heavy precip in southeastern Alaska as well. So I haven't forgot about everybody here in Georgia. It's going to warm up in the 80s here with potential for record highs going into the weekend, right? Making approaching 85 degrees on Saturday. Columbus, same thing. Approaching the records here. It's looking like Atlanta has the best chance to go to beat the records here. 82 Friday and Saturday projected high temperatures, right? So it's gonna be warm, so the pollen's gonna be coming out. So for today, highs in the 70s to near 80 degrees in southern Georgia. Tonight, excuse me, highs in the lows in the upper 40s, northeast Georgia to mid 50s in the far southern reaches of the state. And tomorrow, approaching 80 degrees in southern Georgia and middle 70s up in northern Georgia with no precip expected either of these days, today and tomorrow. So here's the severe weather outlook for today. Today is the 4th of March 2026. You see a large area here in the Mississippi Valley and points southward into north central Texas, all the way down into southern Texas with the marginal risk all the way up into the Ohio Valley here. So quite a wide area for severe weather today. All right, so tornado outlook spans a little smaller area. You have marginal risk of tornado today, 2 to 4% chance of tornado within 25 miles of a point, with no conditional intensity. So likely if you look at the conditional intensity here, um, less than 1, right? So marginal, less than sig 1, less than 1 marginal risk, right? So you can see the difference, conditional intensity, probability category conversion tables here. All right, so going back to tornado, all right. I know this doesn't have individual cities on this map, but to transition to this new format has caused some problems with the conditional intensity showing up on the conventional map, so it's what the best I can do here. Probability of severe wind within 25 miles of a point. They're not showing any conditional intensity here, just a general 15 to 29% chance of a slight risk here in the yellow area, right, from northeastern Texas all the way into southeastern Indiana, and a 5 to 14% risk here in the brown area here. So now hail risk, encompasses a whole area of the outlook here for today, with a 15%, a 15 to 30% chance in the slight risk area, and the marginal risk here surrounding it. So this seems pretty confusing, doesn't it? But with the intensity graphic, right? So if you look at this graphic too, it shows the intensity of tornadoes given the sig less than 1. So most of the tornadoes in this general um, and less than sig 1 would be equivalent to, most of them would be EF0 or EF1, or in a lower range. As you get up in sig levels, of course, still EF0s encompass a larger, a less of a I'm getting twisted here, less of a total, but still the majority, about 5% of EF4 plus. So you can see that there. So that's the explanation about that. And so let's now go over the forecast for today. So as of right now, this is the severe weather outlook for today on the HRF model guidance here. You have a stippled region here. Sig looks like sig 1. It's really hard to see this here for hail, right? So we have a hail risk today right along this the northwestern part of this boundary, okay? And we have ongoing rain here and maybe some snow up here in the northeast. Let's look at the winter, um, if it'll come up. Yeah, so to start off with, freezing rain and snow up in the northeast. That eventually moves out, right? And then you have mostly rain moving out of the area, right? So going back to the reflectivity, going into this morning, this is not too long, or right now actually, pretty much like 4 a.m. now. Showers and storms moving through. Likely hail risk here. Okay, so we go to SPC outlooks, take the categorical off. So hail risk with a sig 1, potentially 2 inches or greater in diameter here. So there's only 2 different sig levels with hail. So other than that, a general hail risk here. So we move through time with this until later today. You have more heavy rainfall in the mid-Atlantic, parts of the Ohio Valley, move through parts of the mid-Atlantic, like I said, and then you have more showers and storms moving through the flow here into this north to south area with, let's see here, you have your tornado risk, which is the lowest risk here. Like I said, you have your hail risk, which is larger risk, the largest risk of them all, and your wind risk here, focused in a central area. So um, that's today's forecast. So let's look at the parameter spaces here. 24-hour hail. You see where the probabilities are highest, at least according to this, where you're going to have hail within 40 kilometers of a point. Tornado, you can see why the threat is a little bit lower here in this area for tornadoes, although not zero. And I'm just putting the updraft velocity swath on here. You're gonna have a lot of rotating storms here. Just a matter of whether they'll be tornadic or not. Not looking too likely here. Although there's still, like I said, there's a marginal risk of tornadoes here. Let's go back to categorical only. Okay, and of course your wind looks like the biggest probabilities here. All right, so going back to hail, tornado, and wind. All right. So if we go back to 4 hour, let's take a look at this. Really going into overnight hours, right? So yeah, I mean, it's going to be later this evening before we really see this threat ramp up today. This is a 4 hour time period. So yeah, let's go back to the radar real quick. The members, we talked about that today. Pretty messy storm mode. Maybe uh, some more intense cells moving through the area, right? So that's today's forecast for the severe weather. All right, so I could sit here and talk about it all day, but we got a lot going on, so I'm trying to get through these different days and analyze this. So I won't be surprised if we get some severe wind gusts up to the north here as well with this system. As far as the types of rainfall for today, we generally have this marginal risk from um, central Missouri through central Illinois, parts of south central Indiana, southern Ohio, parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania today. And we have this is our rain through today, right, into tomorrow, where the heaviest rain is expected to be. So let's go day one here, 2, 3, okay. So you can see where the heaviest rainfall is going to be today into tomorrow. All right. So as far as temperatures go, you can see where the warmest temps are going to be up into the Ohio Valley here today, and then warming up 50s and 60s all the way to the Mid-Atlantic, right? 50s, 70s, nearing 80 degrees around the Gulf Coast here, with really warm temps streaming all the way up into Montana, Wyoming, and points east of the Rockies here. Cooling off overnight tonight, but still 9 p.m. we're still in the 50s and 60s here. So going to be pretty warm overnight. This is likely due to some cloud cover too, keeping the temperatures from cooling off too much. You also can see how cold it is up here in the in Canada. So we definitely got cold air waiting up here to move to the south, which may happen in the next week or so here. So for Thursday, we have another severe weather day incoming here. You see this is the overall outlook, categorical. Slight risk here, 15%. Parts of Texas, western Oklahoma, and parts of southern Kansas here as well. All the way down with the marginal risk, all the way down into southern Texas, generally east of the state line between Texas and New Mexico. Same thing between Colorado and Oklahoma, and all the way up into parts of Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, and points eastward here in Oklahoma and Texas as well. Tornado outlook, we have a smaller 5 to 9% risk with no intensity grade, at least right now, and a more focused area of 5 to 10%, 9% here in the brown. Severe wind outlook, larger area. This encompasses the marginal risk here and the slight risk here into that we showed on the initial map, right, with the categorical. And here's your stippled region in here again with the hail. So this is a slight risk area, and then you have this stippled region, which is a sig 1, okay, which is as we talked about. Let me go back here. Hail, 5%, right? So it's let's see, 15% hail risk, slight, right? Sig 1. Okay, so that's your convergence chart there. So sig 1 would be like 2 inches or greater in diameter, okay? And you only have 3 different sig levels here with hail. So I'm not certain what the hail side would be with the SIG 2. I'll have to look into that some more. But anyway, that's that. So as we get into Thursday, we'll have this severe threat ongoing overnight on Thursday. Lots of showers and storms move through the flow here. Then we move into Thursday afternoon and evening, and that's where this ends. So I'll have to switch over to another product to go any further here. You can see where the heaviest rainfall, where the heaviest rainfall is up here, up in the northeast, and along this boundary here, and maybe some thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast into Florida here and points eastward as well. Looks like some thunderstorms down here in the southern part of the area as well. So let's switch over to another product here. So as we get into Thursday with the radar, right, we got our ongoing precip up to the north and west here, and our area of interest is here in parts of Texas and points northward. In the morning, look like not a lot going on. This is one of the short range models, okay? We get into Thursday evening, this one, the low level jet really picks up, and we get these showers and storms firing along the boundary here. There's a dry line focused in these two different dry line areas, right? So generally around 7, 8 p.m., this really gets going, okay? At least according to this model. You switch over to the NAM, it really doesn't show much. So even the 6Z NAM. So the Rufus A, which is supposed to replace the NAM, wants to really get some convection going here as well, and move it to the north here, right? So it really have some, looks like it wants to have some rotating storms here. So let's look at I'd like to spend more time on the severe parameter space, but I don't really know if it's interesting here how this shows this freezing rain and snow still up here in the northeast. You see that there? So the cold air doesn't really make it get pushed away, at least according to this model. Let's go back to the NAM. It's not as aggressive here, but see heavy rainfall potential here along those boundaries. So anyway, going back to the severe threat, just real quickly about there's a bunch of snowfall expected up here in the Intermountain West as well, and some precip along the west coast here. All right. So yeah, so that's good. Just one more. Let's look at HRR, see what it thinks, see if it goes out far enough. HRR is kind of in agreement with the Rufus, wanting to bring this area of showers and storms, potentially severe, and maybe some firing along the dry line here, mostly into Oklahoma here, as the surface low is to the north. So we'll have to pay attention to that into tomorrow here. As far as excessive rainfall, and we have a broad area of excessive rainfall expected, marginal risk from parts of, and that's tomorrow, from Dallas to parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. So, and this is your precip totals expected. So the highest totals are expected up here in the Mid-Atlantic. So I wonder if we're going to have snow melt too with this. So, and also we got some precip with a snowfall and rain coming on shore out west here. As far as temperatures going into Thursday, take this off. This HRRR showing the temperatures really warming up, streaming up to the north here, 60s all the way up into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic 40s, 30s hanging on up here, maybe snow still up in parts of Maine here. See the temperature 0 degrees up here in northern Maine still. So that cold air is hanging on. But 60s and 70s going all the way up in Mid-Atlantic. 80s to near 90, 80s to near 90 in Florida and southern Texas, and along the dry line here through Thursday afternoon, getting really warm here. You see where the storms are firing up, where they have the cool pockets, but anyway, very warm. with warm temps streaming all the way up to the north here. All right, up into uh, South Dakota, 50s and 60s here as we get into Thursday night. Still very warm even overnight here, all the way up in mid-Atlantic. So staying cold up here in the Northeast. This is really the only area, and out west here where we have 30s and up in North Dakota as well. So as we get into Friday, we have another risk of severe weather here, which is an enhanced risk here in this orange area, generally from Missouri, parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, right, and extreme northern Texas. The larger slate risk surrounding it, all the way up into Wisconsin, Illinois, and part down to central Texas, south central Texas. The larger marginal risk here, a little bit further south in surrounding areas, right? So we go into the probability of severe weather within 25 miles of a point, right? So we have this 30% risk, right? And we have the stippled region here showing intensity 1, right? It doesn't say what the intensity will be because we're at day 3, right? So already highlighting the potential for severe weather in this area with intensity of 1. Um, so don't believe this will be a tornado. I think it'll either be more of a wind or hail risk, but we'll have to see how this plays out with the forecast. So going into Friday, we have a mid-level feature move through the flow here, which is going to bring enhanced winds at the mid, upper, and surface, with a surface low developing here. So we go to, let's see here, analysis. We got Wednesday to Thursday to Friday, 4 a.m. Kind of gets stretched out here with a upper level feature hanging out to the south here, which is going to cut off, I think, for a little while. And you got this flow moving through here. So let's look at the surface here real quick. Let's see. Simulated radar. All right. You got the surface low developing here. On the back side of this, we have snow into Denver area, trees and rain on the northwest side of this. Not a very strong surface low anyway, but you have this line, a shower and storms developing here, generally in this area. So it almost seems like it'll be more cold front driven than anything, and potentially 2 lines of storm developing and moving further to the east here with cold air, cold front pushing to the south. It looks more like a forced event here with winds, right? So wind gusts with this looks like to be a pretty big deal here. Let's see. Let's see if we can put winds on the map. It doesn't really show amounts here, wind speeds, but we'll have to see how this plays out as this moves through. But it looks more like a frontal boundary type forcing type event here, especially as it moves through. I don't know. Let's see. Well, let's go back to the GFS real quick and look at this. Don't have much of the 6C run here. I know I'm taking my time with this, but 10 p.m. I don't know, guys. Let's see if I can do the Rufus, see if it'll show anything. I don't know. It's not looking too impressive, but here you look at the Rufus when we get into Saturday morning. I don't know. He's got a pretty strong push here, but it looks a general north to south, south to north flow event with maybe more severe weather than up here to the north than down south. So let's look at the severe parameters if we can look at this. Yeah, the Cape values are very high down here, especially in Texas, right? The Rufus may overdo this some, but let's go to 6Z here. Wow. You see the surface low here developing and pushing them Cape values up. We're talking, that seems overdone, but 2100 joules per kilogram of mixed layer Cape. Bulk shear, 0 to 6 kilometers. See behind the front, of course, we got a lot of that, but you see the shear values, they're pretty high as well. So let's look at supercell composite. Okay, so we definitely Friday into Saturday, Friday night, Friday AM, up in parts of eastern Kansas here, the supercell composite values are very high here, 18. So let's look at another model. This is Friday at 7 a.m. So go back to the Rufus. The Rufus is pretty aggressive here. Go with an AM. Still showing pretty high values here. So I think as we get into Friday, we definitely have some severe parameter space that could support all modes here. We get into Saturday morning. This really ramps up again here in southern Texas, so we'll have to see what happens there as well. So for excessive rainfall for day 3, we don't have anything on the map. So let's look at temperatures here real quickly. It's Friday, 7 a.m. So you see how warm the air is, even up into the northeast. Although the northeast is cooling off just a little bit, but the mid-Atlantic all the way up into the Midwest. So let's look at the dew point values here real quick. Very moist air moving further to the north here into Saturday morning. So Friday to Saturday. So plenty moist atmosphere for severe storms, wherever they may fire. So long-winded discussion here, but I want to get as much information out as possible here. So as we get further out here, we're all the way out to day 7. We got day 3, day 4, which is Saturday, day 5, which is Sunday, day 6, which is Monday, day 7. They already have a 15% risk highlighted here, again in these areas where the models are in best agreement. I wouldn't be surprised to see other areas outlined for severe in the coming days. So yeah, so the severe threat I think is going to continue through the weekend, but although probably a little less focused or severe as far as intensity goes. So this will continue through next week. Move into the weekend. The excessive rainfall threat ramps up again with the chance of excessive rainfall here in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. Right, we go to day 5. This threat moves further to the east into parts of eastern Texas, southeastern Texas, most of Arkansas, extreme western Tennessee, northwestern Mississippi, southeastern Missouri, and southeastern Oklahoma. So multi threat days coming up here in the short and even the longer term. So today I decided to switch it up and focus more on the short term since there's so much going on. That's what people really care about, right? For the short term. As we get towards the weekend and into the weekend, I'll be able to focus more on the long term as well. But I want to get information out there as much as possible here without getting exhausted doing it. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll try to update as I have more information. But hope you have a good day and God bless.